Okay, so I'm just going to start with some hip circles here, just starting to get a little bit warmed up through the hip joints as well as through the spine. Building up a little bit of heat. Take as much time there as you need, as many circles. If you're going to be doing any back bends, maybe take some circles with your shoulders. And just continuing to make some wide circles with your hips, building up even more heat through the hip joints. The more heat, the easier it'll be to get into the splits. I'm going to come into a pigeon pose here, rocking it around, getting real nice and loose. If that feels okay, you can bring your head down. Stay there for as long as you need. As long as your hips are nice and squared. Take a little mini back bend if you like. You can hear my dog walking in the background, don't mind that. Nice and graceful, we're going to switch to the other side. Take a pigeon on the right side. For a deeper stretch, you can square the hips, make a 90-degree angle with the knee, or if that's too tight, you can pull it closer to your other hip. Doesn't matter. As long as your hips are nice and squared forward. Maybe take another bow, or another little mini back bend if you like. And again, just making any little movements you need. I'm going to take a butterfly stretch here. And it doesn't matter how far you come into this one. You can be sitting straight up, or you can bring your forehead all the way to the ground. Loosening up by doing some little bounces and holding it. I'll come into a pike. Breathing in and going as far as you can comfortably, making sure your spine is straight as possible before bending forward. And again, stay there as long as you need to. We're going to want our hamstrings nice and loose before we get into a split. Take a downward dog, really pressing into the shoulders as well as into the hamstrings. Come forward into a lunge, and take a few little bounces there in the hip. This is going to strengthen the hip as well as warming it up. If you feel okay, you can grab your back leg, deepening even further through the hamstring. Coming into a runner's stretch. This is one you're going to want to stay in for a few minutes if you need to. Coming up and stretching it again. If you like, you can take a standing split and come back into a lunge. This is the exact position your hips are going to need to be in to come into a split. So to come into the split, we'll go to a runner's stretch and scooch our front leg forward until we're into the split. Take it as slowly as you need to, just working towards keeping those hips aligned towards the front. As you can see, I'm demonstrating using a bolster or a pillow if you feel like you need to. And just keep lowering that until you get all the way down in your front split. Once you get down there, we can take a few little movements to deepen it. Laying your chest all the way down to the ground. Maybe grabbing your back leg and deepening it even further into the hamstring. I'm going to take one more down dog here before I show you flipping the grip from the other side. And preparing for a split back bend here. So you're going to slide into your front split. Hips perfectly squared forward. You're going to grab that back leg and exactly as I'm doing, just flip the grip so that your shoulder can rotate into a back bend and your neck will be the last thing bending.